Mulan was a 1998 Disney film based on the Chinese legend Hua Mulan. It surprisingly enough, when you think about it, the long history of Disney that we have and that we've had forever and all that, it's actually their only 36th animated film. That seems crazy. I mean, Disney was, I think, started in the 40s maybe, and to only have 36 animated films at this point seems absurd, but here we are. And it was the only 30, it's the 36th one. That just seems crazy. But I remember seeing this in theaters. I would have been about six-ish, but I remember liking it. My whole family liked it. And it was kind of a big hit in our house. We, bought it on VHS. We all liked it. The story, the songs, everything about it. And, so one of the reasons why I chose it to review this month is because, obviously, for Women's Month, but I mean, specifically for this one, because this was the first real, I think, maybe probably Princess Leia, but, one of the first ones that was around my time when it came out. It was created when I was alive. Was probably the first real female protagonist that just really knocked it out of the park. And I mean, Mulan is she basically ends up doing this to save her family because, there's a draft coming around and her father's, too old and he's got a cane and all this. And there's a draft coming around and every male from the family per family has to go sign up for the draft, basically be in the war against the Huns. And, in order to save her dad, which, she thinks the whole thing's BS, but in order to save her dad, she disguises herself as a man, goes into the army, and, we see her journey there. And, it's very compelling to see that kind of a story. And it wasn't just, this was also, one of the first ones I remember being very serious natured first, then comedic. It was an animated film, of course, but it took itself very seriously, but it didn't, overlook. It wasn't like it was talking over the kids or anything like that. I remember as a kid, I understood it very well. But, and I guess it had people divided too because Roger Ebert loved this, but Lee Siskel was pretty disappointed. Everyone has their own opinion. But even China, the country as a country, said that it was too foreign looking and the story was too different from the myths of Mulan. Now, I don't know much about the myths of Mulan. Obviously they based it off of her to an extent. I don't know how accurate it is. China obviously says it wasn't accurate. So, I would take that with probably pretty good standing. And, as we know, Disney doesn't always, make the most accurate things. They change a lot of stuff, for the sake of kids. They can be dark, don't get me wrong. Like Hunchback of Notre Dame's dark, but then the original Victor Hugo novel is a lot darker of an ending than the cartoon we have, even though it's a dark film. But so my point is they tend to change things, whether it's for better or worse. But apparently in this one, at least compared to the Chinese nation as a whole, they didn't really care for it. As an adaptation. I don't know if they, liked it as a film. I just know they didn't care for it as an adaptation. I personally love this film. I think it stands the test of time. I think that that the songs are great. The acting is great. You got Donny Osmond singing one of the most memorable songs for me, "I'll Make a Man Out of You," in the soundtrack. And, who can forget Mulan's big song, "Reflection." And there's just so many good moments and songs. Eddie Murphy's great as Mushu the dragon, and it's just an all-around good, fun family film. And I know that there was a 2020 remake. I have not seen it. I have heard that it wasn't as good, but it was still okay. I don't really know, but speaking of the songs, though, it was an Academy Award nominated for Best Original Musical or Comedy Score. So for the whole thing, so that was include all the music and then all of the orchestral stuff as well as the original songs. But like I said, I love the film, and I've loved it from the beginning, and I still do. I still think the songs are really catchy and all that. I know there were a couple sequels. I don't remember if I've seen them or not. I don't remember if they were any good, but let's talk about Mulan herself real quick. She is there it's very portrayed. I don't know if this is accurate, but it's portrayed in the traditional Chinese. The men kind of are more manly. You know what I mean? You go out and the men do the work and they go to the military and blah blah blah. And it's she's supposed to go learn to be a geisha, which is a little risque, I think, for Disney standards. But she, of course, isn't into it, and she is, she's kind of a tomboy, but when the time comes, she pretends to be a man, and she goes and kicks butt better than anybody in the whole army. But there's this moment where when they find out she's a woman, they like pull out a sword like they're gonna kill her. It's just really dark. But overall, she's great. I definitely think that she is a great role model. She's a strong woman. She definitely is, it's what we're kind of looking for with Women's Month, I think. We want these kind of good, positive role models. So I definitely recommend the movie. If you haven't seen it, it's on Disney Plus, and it's probably coming up on, I know Freeform does a lot of these films. That's where I saw it last years, but either way. But definitely check it out and let me know what you guys think if you haven't seen it. I might one of these days do the 2020 remake. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I don't really know much about it. But either way, let me know what you guys think, and I will come back with another review soon. Take it easy.